think is going to be one of the most timely presentations of today's event. We've, over the last couple of months, experienced some extraordinary times in the COVID pandemic and working virtually and working remotely and being stuck in our homes and still trying to do real estate business. And, it's been a lot. And I was part of a mastermind event that I watched. I wasn't in it. I watched it online, I want to say 2 months ago. And of all the presentations that were inside of this pretty large event, one of them caught my eye, and I will tell you, a lot of other people, a ton of comments. And so I've never met Tina in person. I certainly never met her husband, who's joining us also, Kevin. We've had some interaction online. I have, when I was putting this together, I knew I wanted someone that could really speak to doing that virtual online presentation. And so I reached out to you kind of cold, like she's probably looked at this message and went, who's this guy, right? And she probably thought it was spam at first, who knows? But I'm super appreciative, Tina, that you would take the time to do this. And Kevin, I appreciate that you would join us too.
Absolutely.
The presentation is the virtual listing presentation. And I want to tell you briefly who Tina is, and then I want to let her go and do her thing. So Tina is been in the real estate business for the last 20 years. She sold over $550 million in real estate sales in the last 5 years, and knows how to grow a profitable real estate business, whether you're a single agent or you want to start and grow a team. Tina's passion is helping agents think bigger by letting go of their limiting beliefs. Her team will sell over 350 homes this year with over $120 million in sales volume. Some of Tina's accomplishments is a 2019 TEDx Cary Women Speaker. She's the #1 team in the state of North Carolina for eXp Realty. They did $103 million in volume last year in 2019. Her presentation again is the virtual listing presentation. So Tina and Kevin, I want to get out of your way. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate you would do this.
You are so welcome. We're just going to kind of let everyone know what we're doing today. So obviously it is a role play. And, this is the presentation that Kevin and I teach our team. We've taught this for the last 10 years. And this presentation has made us millions of dollars. Before this, I did not have a presentation. I didn't believe in scripting. I thought it was stupid. But what I realized was that a lot of top producers actually do have scripted presentations. And so for the last 10 years, we have taught this and learned this. And so we're going to show you what it looks like today. And we do it before COVID, we did it. After COVID, we're still doing it. And we're not going to go through the stats as far as each property. So we're going to skip that part for time, but here we go. So you ready, Mr. Seller?
As long as you can hear me, all right.
I can hear you perfectly. So perfect. I'm going to actually, pull my script up so I can see it. So I want everyone to know that I will be reading it, but obviously to my seller, he has no clue what I'm doing right now. So Kevin, thank you so much for showing me around your home today via Zoom. I really do appreciate it. And I wanted you to know that selling homes via the internet, via Zoom is absolutely normal for us. We do it all the time and we do it successfully because we have people from out of town that move here and move out of state that we've never, ever met. Also, just so you know, our company is a virtual cloud-based company. So we were actually built for times just like this. The two things that you need to know about our market right now is that, number one, it's always changing and it's changing daily and it's changing fast. And number two is that we're trying to get you in and out of the market quickly because of the uncertainty so we can protect your equity. Okay, does that make sense?
It does, yep.
Perfect. So I feel like my job is the protector of your equity to get you across the finish line with the least amount of bumps and bruises. And so I've actually prepared our market analysis, and I'm going to go through that. I've actually wrote down a bunch of questions for you. So are you good to go through that now?
Sure. Yep. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Kevin, three of the most important questions. Number one, do you absolutely have to sell this home or do you have other options?
No, I absolutely have to sell this. We're actually, I'm like I mentioned on the phone, it's a divorce situation, so we have to get it sold and get out of here.
You have to get moving. I understand. And then will you price your home competitively, or do you want to keep it on the market for a long period of time?
I mean, when you say competitively, I mean, of course we want to, we want to be competitive in the market, but I'm certainly not going to give away the house. I'm not going to just rock bottom price it because it's a divorce situation. We want to get the most out of it possible.
I got it. And the last thing I want you to do, Kevin, is give your home away. In fact, if you're giving it away, I'll be first in line to take it because it's a beautiful home. I understand. And then do you want me to handle the sale for you based on the package of information that my courier delivered last night?
Well, I certainly think you're qualified enough to do it. I have spoken with a couple of other people, so I'd like to hear what you have to say, and then, we'll make a decision after this.
That sounds good. Well, at the end of my presentation, typically one of three things happens, Kevin. Number one, obviously you'll have the opportunity to list with me. I've sent you all of the paperwork. It is probably in your email box now. So if everything works out, we can just go right through that paperwork after our conversation. Number two, you may decide not to list your home with me. And number three, I may decide not to take the listing. And any one of those is absolutely fine with me. I'll explain a little bit of why I might not take a listing. And the only reason is that what the market is suggesting and what you are hoping to achieve, they're just not in alignment. And I'm just not one of these agents that's going to take your listing and beat you up on the price week after week after week. It's just not my mission. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. And
Perfect.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So let's just take a quick moment and review the questions I asked you and your ex over the phone yesterday, just so we're clear. You did say that you were moving, away from this house. You're about going 40 minutes away, and you just wanted something you can downsize to, correct?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. And obviously we know we're moving because of the separation. You said that you don't really have a timeline, but you'd really like to get this done by the end of July.
I don't know if you've ever gone through a divorce. It's not fun sharing the same home. So yeah, the sooner the better, really.
Agreed. Not a problem. And then you had your home priced at $575,000. It expired off the market at $550,000. You'd like to keep it as close to $550,000 as possible. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And then you said you owe $300,000 on the property.
Yep. Right around. Yeah, roughly.
Okay. And that's a lot of equity to protect. So, and you weren't planning on selling it yourself, correct?
No, I don't. It's just time-wise, we needed, to get it going, and we figured we should probably just have somebody handle it.
I understand.
And we can't get on the same page with anything right now, so it's one of those things.
That's right. Well, it's good to have a professional on your side. Now, there's really only two issues that we have to look at today. Whether the market is good or bad, these are truly the only two issues. Number one is the motivation that you and your wife have to sell this home. And number two are the price that we set as a team on this home. So I've prepared in front of me what I call, a market absorption analysis. And there's two parts to the research. Part one, realtors sort of call fantasy land. And that's what other agents will list and sell homes for that fail to sell. And you've seen these homes. Obviously, yours came off the market. They're beautiful homes, but for whatever reason, they just don't sell. And part two is what we call reality. And that's where professional agents like myself will list and sell homes for. So we have to decide today, where are you going to spend your time? Now, the purpose of the market absorption analysis for me is to determine the value of your home in the eyes of the buyer, not in your eyes or my eyes, but definitely the buyers. So I know that you mentioned that you were out shopping for homes in Wake Forest, right? And you were looking. How are you determining value, Kevin, when you shop for your new home?
Well, I mean, I'm going out with my buyer's agent and looking at different houses and figuring out which one feels like the right one for me, and just looking at a bunch of them.
Exactly. And so it sounds like you're comparison shopping, right? You're not just looking at one, you're going to look at many.
Right. Until I find the one. Yeah.
Exactly. And all buyers are just like that, regardless of what they shop for. They're looking at the price of your home, based on its features and benefits, and then comparing it to every single home in their price range right around the area. I heard this example years ago, and I thought, gosh, that makes so much sense. And so it's a little elementary, but I saw that you had a really nice Corvette in the garage when we were touring.
Yeah.
I have to imagine, you went to maybe a couple different dealerships to look for that vehicle when you bought it, correct?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if we were going to go buy that vehicle today, and let's just say it's $75,000, $80,000, and you found that vehicle at two different dealerships, they were identical, except one had, the fanciest rims and an upgraded engine, and they were both $80,000. Which one would be a better value for you?
Well, certainly the one with, better rims and a bigger engine is always a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but if the first dealership called you back and said, Kevin, we got to get this other car off the lot today due to COVID, there's been a slowdown. We'd like to sell it to you today for $60,000. Which one might be a better value then?
I mean, that's a different story.
Yeah.
The cheaper one seems, Yep.
Seems better. And same thing, with housing, you want to have the most features and benefits for the same price as some of the others in the neighborhood. So you can see A, have a lower price, so you beat the competition, or B, have more features and benefits for the same price, so your home kind of stands out as a clear choice. And that's what this market is looking for, a clear choice to the buyer in features, benefits, and price. Now, I don't think that you're planning on adding more features and benefits to your house, correct?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay. So this is the part where I'm going to kind of show you what I mean. But before I get there, I just want to kind of give you an idea of our hyper local market. Right now, between $500,000 and $600,000. Last month, there were 70 homes that entered the market. And in the last 30 days, only 30 of those 70 sold. So 50 homes just like yours are sitting unsold month in and month out right here in our local market. Okay. So it kind of tells us that we have to be aggressive. So the first thing I want to show you is that the first home is a home just like yours. However, it did have a pool and it had an amazing backyard oasis. And that home sold in the same time that yours was on the market. And it's right down the street on Apple Lane. And it sold for $550,000. So I believe what happened at the time, Kevin, is your home could have helped that homeowner, your neighbor, sell their home because your home did not have a pool and they did. Does that make sense?
It does. And I know the house you're talking about.
Yeah, I know that situation, unfortunately, was a divorce as well. And after they had put in that pool. So, that to me shows that your home, that home was just a little bit better than yours because of the pool. Now, the next one that I'll show you here on my screen was a home that sold for $500,000. And Kevin, I got to be honest, your home is much better than this home. This home was a little bit smaller and didn't have the upgraded kitchen that yours has with the granite countertops that you put in and the stainless steel appliances. So would you agree that home for $500,000 was definitely not as desirable as yours?
I would agree with that. Absolutely.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. The last home I want to show you, Kevin, and you've probably seen this comp before, it is right here in your neighborhood. In fact, it's the same builder and the exact same floor plan. They have a few different color choices, but at the end of the day, you both put in, the newer kitchens, the granite countertops, the stainless appliances. Everything looks very similar. And you can see here right on the screen, Kevin, that home sold for $525,000. And look at how many days it sat on market. Can you see what that says there?
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
Pretty quick. So 7 days on market. So Kevin, now that you've seen these prices, honestly, it's just the two of us today, and I want you to be completely honest. What price do you feel that we should use to create value in the eyes of the buyer and get someone to decide to buy your home versus the competition out there today?
Well, I mean, I can certainly see where we were way high at 575, especially being that the home with the pool, sold closer to 550-ish.
Right.
The good news is the other one did sell the 525 home, so that's no longer any competition.
Correct.
I would like to stay kind of in that 545 range to 550 and see if we can, leave a little bit of room. And, if we have to go down to like 539 or something, I'm certainly comfortable doing that. But, I feel like it's in the range at, 540, 545, somewhere around there.
Got it.
At least it's in the ballpark, right?
Sure, absolutely. Well, now that you've seen these prices, Kevin, I'm going to honestly recommend a price of $525,000 because I want to make sure that your home is not overlooked this time. If you look at our sales price to list price ratio in our market, it's 98%, which means at $550,000, we're actually advertising to the buying public that you're looking for 540 and above. And you said to me yesterday that you did not get one offer on your home last time. Is that correct?
Yeah, but a lot of it is that we do back to a road, so I know it's going to take a little bit of a certain type of buyer to do that. So we back to the main street, and I know that's not great. So I know the buyer pool is a little bit smaller with that being the case, but I think if the right buyer comes along, they'll fall in love with the upgrades. And I want to leave a little bit of room, at least if we were to list at, like you're suggesting, 525, that feels like rock bottom to me. And then there's no room. If I were a buyer looking, I would offer somewhere around 510 if I saw that it was 525. So
right,
I think if we list it around 540, then somebody will come in maybe at the 525.
Absolutely. Well, I want to back up because you mentioned something really important, that your home back to the road. And you mentioned that several times in our conversation yesterday when we were going through those other questions. The neat thing is this: did you buy your home knowing that it backed to the road?
Well, sure.
And then every single one of the owners that live on that road, those homes are occupied, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't truly buy into the fact that you back to the road and that's going to be the only issue that we have. I truly believe, Kevin, that we have to make sure that your home is going to have a competitive edge and that you're going to list at the right price. And right now, again, 98% of the offers that come in are 98% of list price. So when you're at 550, if you didn't even get an offer, it just tells me as a professional agent that you may just be off the value range that a buyer is comfortable offering you. So what would happen if we listed the home at 525 and we got multiple offers? Would you be opposed to that?
I mean, it depends on what the offers are, I guess. I mean, certainly I would like to have multiple offers, but if there are multiple offers at 510,
right,
then of course not.
Exactly. So if we listed the home and you got 525, would you be happy with that number?
If I ended up selling it for 525?
Yes.
I would be okay with that. Yeah, I would say that would be probably my bottom
line.
Yeah.
Exactly. And my concern is if we list high and we leave room for negotiation, you may never have the opportunity to get one offer at all. And I think at this point, we have to make sure that we get offers. So if I bring the home to market at 540, which I absolutely can because you're in charge here, specifically, why do you feel that your home, again, because I have to justify, is worth, let's say, $15,000 more than the home that did sell for 525 that wasn't on the road? Because that's a question that will come up.
I mean, certainly we have some upgraded granite. The appliances are, pretty nice appliances.
Yes.
And, I guess my thought is if that house is no longer on the market and is no longer competition, maybe we're the only game in town. And, I was always taught, listen, start a little high and leave that room. So that's just kind of always been ingrained in me.
Well, I can definitely appreciate that. And I think that's the strategy that you and the last realtor probably took last time. Let's list at 575, hope to get 550. The last thing that I want to happen, Kevin, is that you list too high and never get the opportunity to sell again. And we're having this conversation in 2 to 3 months. So in the beginning of the listing, you have all the power. You have all the leverage, and the buyer comes in knowing that because they want to buy your home and they want to pay the right price for it. After 2 or 3 or 4 weeks go by, who do you think the power transfers to, you or the buyer?
Well, it never looks good to have a house sit. That's for sure.
Exactly.
And I know, as a buyer, of course, if it's been on the market, low ball and all that. I mean, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. So really all we need to do right now, Kevin, is figure out what price is going to allow the home to sell, which right now, in my opinion, based on market stats and comps, it's going to be based on that 525 that your neighbor who was off the street sold for. So are you okay and comfortable if we can get the right offer and stick close to that 525 valuation? Are you okay with listing the home at 525 today?
If you're saying you can get me 525 by listing at 525, I am okay with that. I guess my question to you would be, what do I have to pay you, and what's your rate? I guess is my question, because obviously that comes out now that we're lowering things.
So the standard rate for us is 6%, Kevin. We're going to keep 3% to our brokerage and 3% goes to the buyer agent.
So the last two agents I talked to were both at 5%, and their answer was, hey, we know there's some people out there that are higher and some that are lower. We're 5%. Are you willing to do it at 5%?
Well, Kevin, let me ask you this. Are you willing to list your home at 500,000 today so it'll sell quicker?
No.
And why is that?
Well, it's worth more.
Exactly. So I would love to do it at 5%, but I know that we're worth more. I know that we're worth the full 6% commission, Kevin. We're the #1 company in town. So I'm going to fight to get you that 525. We're going to do it at the right price this time, get it sold, and make sure that we get you to that house in Wake Forest in the time that you want. So all we need to do is simply sign the agreement and get working. I have buyers waiting to enter your home today. You ready to move forward, Kevin?
How long do you think it'll take to actually sell, Tina?
It would take us probably under 14 days, Kevin. That is what we do on our team. We have a 14-day turnaround period. That's our average.
Under 2 weeks, we get almost basically 525 or right there.
Correct.
And then we're done.
And then we're done.
But you're still at 6%.
Correct. The standard 6.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Paperwork, Kevin. Sign the paperwork.
It's already in my inbox. What can I do?
Right?
Yeah.
I would usually beat her up a little bit harder.
Yeah,
but when I saw you pop out and go, oh, Eric, we're up against.
No, you're good. You guys did awesome. Here's one of my takeaways. I'm sure there are many, right? Thank you. By the way, let me just stop and say thank you for doing this. I appreciate that you both would take your time to jump in here and do this today. Absolutely. It means a lot. It means truly a lot. Yeah, so my big takeaway, though, watching this, just stepping back a little bit, maybe the 30,000 square foot or the 30,000 foot view down or whatever is.
Yeah.
You're doing it online. You're doing it via Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, you're just doing it like you would if you were in person. Like, it doesn't change much, really. Like, you just, yeah, there's the dynamic of I'm not at the table in front of you, but other than that, you're just doing your stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, it's definitely more powerful when you have the comps and you really go through each and every one. This takes me about 40 minutes, but I mean, very, very rarely do they have a lot of objections, and they're just ready to sign typically. So we do this all the time, all the time.
Yeah. I think a couple of real important things. Number one, she would do a screen share and show the comps and all that. So we skipped over that for time's sake. Number two, though, when you tell somebody that the paperwork is in their inbox ready to sign, it's just, at that point, it's just ease, right? It's an easy thing. And I know, again, time-wise, we didn't do this, but she would then say, hey, while I have you on, let's go through the paperwork that's already there. Can you open your email and we'll run through it? Yep. And then it's click, sign, and done.
Yeah. No. And by the way, I think consumers are going to more and more demand that we do business this way, where we're not trooping through their house. Series of agents aren't trooping through their house. We do things digitally, and this is the wave of the future. We have to be open-minded in these things. So, guys, thanks again. I appreciate it so much. I know you're busy. I know you had to take time out of your schedule, and I appreciate it.
You're welcome,
Eric. Thank you.
Take care. Good to meet you.